As we begin this 6-minute journey, gliding eastward along the quiet, winding 2-lane blacktop of Pennsylvania Route 488, look out through the windshield at the profound shift in the landscape. The heavy concrete and the deafening industrial roar of the steel valleys we explored earlier have completely vanished. You are now crossing into Butler County, and the world outside your window has transformed into the deep, rolling, heavily forested heart of the Appalachian Plateau. Take a deep breath and look at the towering walls of oak, maple, and white pine pressing in on the edges of the road. This is a landscape that feels incredibly old, deeply grounded, and fiercely quiet. As the pavement dips and rises with the natural rhythm of the earth, look at the shape of the hills and the deep ravines just beyond the tree line. The topography you are looking at is the direct physical result of an ancient, unimaginable force. We are driving right through the southern edge of Moraine State Park. More than 10,000 years ago, a colossal continental glacier violently pushed its way down from Canada and ground to an absolute halt right in this specific region. As it melted, it dropped millions of tons of crushed rock and rich earth, creating the massive terminal moraines and the chaotic, beautiful rolling hills you see outside the glass right now. Just to our north sits Lake Arthur, a massive body of water created to restore the ancient glacial lake that once covered this entire valley. Look into the dense, dark patches of the forest as we continue east. Imagine this exact terrain in the winter of 1753. Long before this asphalt was laid down, this route roughly followed the Venango Path, an ancient and heavily traveled indigenous trail. This was a terrifying, trackless wilderness, completely dominated by ancient indigenous tribes and heavily contested by the French and British empires. It was through this very county, fighting through freezing, waist-deep snow, that a young, completely unknown 21-year-old major named George Washington marched on a desperate diplomatic mission that would ultimately ignite the French and Indian War. The woods you were looking at were the treacherous, freezing proving grounds for the man who would eventually forge the entire United States. As the thick canopy of trees occasionally breaks, the landscape opens up, and we are crossing into the beautiful, deeply historic borough of Prospect. Look at the way the land sits. We are riding up onto the center of the most extensive elevated plain in all of Butler County. Back in 1825, when a man named Thomas Forrester laid out the first survey of this town, the sweeping, magnificent view of the surrounding countryside was so breathtaking that the founders decided there was only one fitting name for the settlement, calling it Prospect. Local farmers like Andrew McGowan and David Davis actually donated pieces of their own rugged farmland to create this crossroads right where the historic routes between Newcastle, Butler, Franklin, and Pittsburgh all collided. As we cruise through the center of Prospect, look at the deep setbacks of the property lines and the sturdy, historic architecture. In the mid to late 19th century, this quiet crossroads transformed into a bustling, incredibly vital market town. Prospect was fueled by the massive, sprawling dairy farms that surrounded it. It even boasted a highly productive creamery that churned out thousands of pounds of butter so famous for its quality that it was actually packed in heavy wooden crates and shipped as far away as the frozen gold rush camps of Alaska. But do not let the quiet pastoral beauty fool you. In the late 19th century, this exact area of Butler County experienced a massive, chaotic, and incredibly wealthy oil and natural gas boom. The quiet farmers of Prospect suddenly found themselves sitting on top of black gold. If you were looking out this window in 1880, you would have seen these quiet hillsides completely stripped of their trees and covered in a massive, sprawling forest of wooden oil derricks. The air would have been thick with the smell of raw crude and the rhythmic, heavy thumping of steam-powered pump jacks pulling energy out of the shallow earth. The massive wealth generated by that hidden oil built the heavy brick storefronts and the beautiful Victorian homes you see scattered throughout the borough today. Prospect survived the chaotic frenzy of the oil drillers and stubbornly held on to its quiet, enduring agricultural soul. We are on the final stretch now, approaching the eastern edge of Prospect as Route 488 seamlessly becomes the Newcastle Road. The dense, isolating canopy of the forest pulls back completely, revealing the wide open sky and the quiet, highly functional reality of modern rural Pennsylvania. Look out toward the left side of the highway as we approach our destination at 1031 Newcastle Road. The sprawling, picturesque property coming into view holds its own incredibly beautiful piece of local history. In 1939, a young couple named John and Dorothy Eisler discovered this exact farm. They were so utterly enchanted by the beauty of the rolling land and the towering trees that they decided to marry right here on the property and make it their permanent home. For decades, they transformed the soil, raising their children amidst massive fields of flowers, rich orchards, and a sprawling commercial greenhouse. Today, that historic greenhouse and the surrounding acreage have been completely reimagined by their descendants into an award-winning, stunning venue known as the Atrium, keeping the deep romantic legacy of the Eisler family alive and thriving right here on the edge of town. As the forward momentum of the vehicle finally begins to slow on the approach, take a long, deliberate look at the quiet, enduring strength of the landscape outside the glass. Over the last 6 minutes, you have traveled across the massive, violent scars left by the Ice Age. You have looked into the dark forests that tested the absolute resolve of the American founding fathers. You have traced the muddy footsteps of the earliest pioneers who built a town on a massive plateau, passed over the hidden, wealthy oil fields of the 19th century, and witnessed the quiet, unbreakable, deeply rooted agricultural heart of Butler County.